and communicate as well. So we will see all these today. So as I said, discrepancy management is the process that systematically addresses discrepancies generated within the study. Okay, so user must identify the cause, assess the error, and determine the appropriate action. And the user can choose to resolve the discrepancy or route it to another user. So process of cleaning the subject data, it includes manual checks and program checks. So to be specific here, what happens is we as data managers will have to assess if it is, there will be data there. We would have created edit checks which will fire if it is wrong. But for other data where we have to compare two different forms. Now, for example, there is an adverse event which is captured as the subject had headache. For it, they have also told that there was medication taken. And we have to compare the medication form now. So there are two different forms which is we are going to compare, right? In that scenario, we cannot write a check. When there is complex checkings involved, we cannot have an edit check there in place so that it does the work. There we have to come in, we have to pitch in, we have to have manual checks or some program checks. So there are database programmers, like in-house programmers. Two programmers are there. You have to have this in mind. One is database programmer. We saw when we are designing the database, that one will be outside our organization. So for example, that depends on which type of database we are taking or we are using. So now if we are using Oracle's Inform, the database programmer will be from Oracle, though I am working for IQVIA. I'm just giving an example, okay? Though I'm working in ABC, whatever the platform I am working, the database design programmer will be from that organization. Whereas these programmers, where we have to have the checks designed, the listings designed. For all these, we have in-house. Like if I'm working in IQVIA, the programmer also will be sitting in IQVIA. So they are mostly the SaaS programmers, okay? So they will design, we are going to give them the requirements that this is what the check. Now, as I said, adverse event and concomitant medication, right? So I will give my requirement to that programmer telling, so I want a check which has to compare these two forms and give me the output, whatever there are issues. Because, there is a lot and lot of data in there in the database. Okay, one subject will have some 40 different forms. Each form is having some 10 to 12 lines and so many data there. We cannot go in each subject and check, right? So that is when this Excel sheet works a lot. We can always have, we can pull the reports from the database, work through the Excel, and then we can still get the discrepancies. But if there is a huge data, for example, like around 50,000 rows in Excel, if you want to do something or you want to find out what is the discrepancy in it, we of course want some programming there. Okay, so we will tell the programmer that, okay, see, this is what is my requirement. You have to design the check. The output will contain only the discrepancies. Okay, so one is manual check. As I said, we can pull reports. We can always check, compare and check. We can put Excel formulas and we get through the discrepancies. The other one is program check. We give the programmer a requirement. He programs it for us and the output comes to us. Okay, so we have to anyhow, in any way, we have to just resolve the discrepancies, whatever is there in the database. Give good quality data to stats team so they produce it to the regulatory bodies. Okay, so these are the types of discrepancies, I would say. There should be some completeness and consistency. So there can be some issues like some scenarios, I would say, some scenarios where same data has to be entered in another form as well. Okay, but there can be inconsistencies between those two forms. Now I said adverse event data will also have serious adverse events. since there is both the data is same,